Hello. Happy Wednesday. Now I know y'all want a long vlog, but I don't know that it's gonna happen tonight. I just left Tanya's after saying goodbye to my friend Liz because she flies back tomorrow. My hair looks kind of nice tonight, don't you think? But anyway, so I sat and talked to her while she was doing laundry for a little bit, said goodbye to her because she's flying back out to Oakland tomorrow. And let's see. What was my day like? Well, I woke up. I thought I filmed something earlier, but I guess I didn't. Maybe I did, I don't know. I got up and they're doing construction on my condo, fixing like the exterior of it. So those sounds that you hear are crickets, people always ask. And so like literally at 8 o'clock this morning, they're pounding on the building. And it's two really nice guys, but I couldn't sleep. The dogs were barking in the basement because they were in their house. And I just kept on trying to sleep and sleep. I mean, I literally probably got about 4 hours total of sleep last night. I couldn't fall asleep last night because I've like been reading this book on my Kindle, this Richard Lehman book, and it's called No Sanctuary. And it's real scary, and it's real good, but it's real scary. And I am like totally hooked on it now. And I sat in bed and read like I was like on my side because Alex is asleep, so I read on my phone. And I hardly ever read on a Kindle, but it's been kind of nice to be going to sleep, like having a book on my Kindle to go to sleep to and just kind of read a little bit before I go to bed. I kind of like it. So I've been doing that, and it kind of feels real homey to me, you know, like just to lay there and read because I love to read. But I got real into this book and I was like 3 chapters in and then I couldn't fall asleep. And I should probably read and then take my melatonin, I think is what I'm going to do tonight. Oh, but anyway, I don't know that I'll even need it. I'm so tired. But and Alex woke up and he's like, "What are you doing, babe?" And I was like, "I can't sleep." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And it was so sweet to me because I couldn't sleep. And so anyway, I woke up today, went and talked to these guys outside the the carpenter guys. They were telling me what they were doing, and we're getting a new patio. They're doing it, but it'll probably be like sometime in September. So basically, I'll get to enjoy my new patio for October, and then we'll have snow. It's cool though, whatever. I'm not buying new patio furniture this year though, I'm just not. We can buy it next year. And let's see what else. And then I made my videos for the day, and then I ran errands, and then I wanted to eat. We had our counseling appointment today. I wanted to eat before I went to counseling. Did I already vlog? If I vlogged earlier today, I apologize, you guys. But I wanted to eat before I went to our marriage counseling session at 7, but I didn't get a chance, so I had to eat when I got home, which was actually kind of nice because Alex and I made our dinners together, and we sat there and we watched Real Housewives of Orange County. I watched the end of Big Brother, and then he came in and we watched Real Housewives of Orange County together. Our counseling session went really well tonight. It was a good counseling session. And we booked our anniversary trip for Miami. We were going to go to San Diego, but I just kind of on a whim looked up Miami, and I was like, I said, "What do you really want to go to San Diego for?" And he was like, "Well, to visit his friend that lives in LA, and then our brother-in-law." And I was like, "Are you really, like, why don't you go and visit Sarah, like, on your own for, like, a weekend coming up?" And he was like, "Yeah, that probably would be better, because, you know, I need a PPM Peter's bachelor weekend." And so he's like, "Yeah, because that way I can spend a lot of time with her alone." And then he said, "And I want to go see Fufu and Jesse, but my brother-in-law and his girlfriend." And I said, "Well, I do too, but do you want to do that for our anniversary? Or we could go out there some, you know, winter weekend when San Diego is still nice." And he's like, "Yeah, that's a really good point." So we looked online and we found incredible rates for 4 nights in Miami at our favorite hotel plus airfare. I couldn't believe how cheap we got it for. So we booked that. We're super excited. We're going to Miami. I'm in Miami, bitch. So anyway, and So we're excited about that. And then I did a live stream. I went on kind of early tonight. I went on like at 9:45. Fun live stream. Talked about all kinds of stuff. And then, what else did I do? And then, God, I can't remember. That possum right there is in the same spot every night. Wonder if he lives over there. Possum, is that your house? And, then I did my live stream, then I came inside, and Alex and I laid in bed and talked for a little bit. And then I came over to Tanya's, and I said goodbye to Liz, and we sat there and talked. Then I took Tanya to the kennel because she wanted to pick up her dog, Junebug, because Junebug was still at the kennel from earlier today. So we picked up Junebug, and we brought her home to be with Cash. And that was it. And then I just left. It was a good day. I read a lot today too. I sat on the patio and read quite a bit, and I have 2 and a half hours of Six of Crows left, and I'm finishing it tonight. It's 1:20. That's why I probably won't do a super long live stream, because I want to finish that book tonight. I have to get it done. Like, it's just enough is enough already. And I'm really ready to get into another audiobook. I mean, Booktubeathon was, I've been reading this book now for almost a month. Booktubeathon was, what, the 24th of July? So since the 24th of July, I've been reading this book. I want to finish it. And today, I bought another Leanne Moriarty book, and I went to Target, and I shouldn't have, but I bought 2 new books. I cannot go into the book section at Target, because, I feel like, I keep on thinking that, like, no, that was earlier. I keep on feeling like I vlogged all this, but I cannot go into the book section at Target because it is so incredible. I just love Target anyway, don't you? It's just beautiful, you know? Somebody commented on my video last night or the night before and said, "Oh, there you go again, crying, LOL." Yeah, I cry a lot. I identify with my feelings, and I'm not afraid to feel my emotions and respond to them. You should try that instead of laughing at somebody for feeling their emotions. But I was thinking earlier about, like, when I was on my way to say goodnight to Liz, or say goodbye to Liz, I was thinking about, like, my mom's best friend, Susie, who I talked about on here the other day. And so Susie came the October before my mom passed away, and they went, I just talked about this not too long ago in here, but it's in relation to Liz. They went to IU's homecoming and went to the Pi-Fi house and all that kind of stuff. And I, like, remember when I went home that night, like, I was so upset, and I went to my ex was like, "What's wrong, babe?" And I just was like, I don't know that I'll ever see Susie again. Like, not in that, I had this weird feeling. I don't even know how to explain it, but I was like, I just don't know that I'll ever see Susie again, you know? Like that. Of, like, sitting around and drinking coffee and laughing and telling stories and having political conversations. My mother loved political conversations. If she is such a good thing that she is not, my mother was a diehard liberal, my father was a diehard conservative. My dad is a diehard conservative when it comes to medical issues or finance or economy, but when it comes to issues, he's very liberal. But my mother loved sitting around and talking politics, and she was very well versed in it. And she knew everything that was going on, constantly listened to NPR, constantly watched CNN, reading articles, all kinds of stuff. And so, you know, it was just, those were the days of sitting around and having conversations and them telling stories about being in college and all kinds of funny stuff, you know? And it's like, I kind of knew, like, that was probably one of the last times. I had no idea it was the last time, though. And, you know, the next time I saw Susie was when she flew in for my mom's viewing, and she came in, I'll never forget. You know, she flew straight in and landed and came straight from the airport to the viewing, and then we went out to dinner that night after the viewing, a bunch of us, but Susie was there. And Susie's been so wonderful, you know, like, she's been like one of my mom's only friends that has called and checked in on me since my mom passed away. And Susie calls me, you know, 3 or 4 times a year, and we talk, and begs me to come out and visit her in Colorado. And But tonight, on the way to go see Liz and say goodbye to her, I had a very similar feeling. And I thought, this is going to probably be one of the last times I see Liz like this, you know? Liz grew up in Indianapolis, but she doesn't call this her home anymore. Oakland is her home, and the Bay Area, and she only ever comes home for weddings. And she has so many friends from college. Liz is so much younger than me. She's 31. You know, that when she comes to town, she wants to hang out with her friends that she saw some from college, which I know those girls too, because I used to go out with them, you know, and stuff. But like, it's different because she played soccer with them in college, and, you know, they have families and kids now, and she's in their weddings and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, when she comes home, she has so many people she has to see, and I usually pick her up at the airport with Tanya, and then, like, if she's just kind of hanging out at night at Tanya's before she goes to bed, after she's seen all these people, I see her for like a half an hour, but that's kind of it, you know, and it's sad because that's kind of what our friendship has become. We just don't really talk a whole lot anymore, you know, like we used to on the phone, and I don't know, I just had this weird feeling on the way over there tonight. I got really sad, and I was like, I just don't know that I'll ever see Liz really in this capacity again, you know, and Tanya talks a lot about moving to Florida, and her son just moved to Florida, so, I mean, Tanya could move to Florida, you know, in the next... I see like a light behind me. That's really weird. Do you see that? Like right up there? It was weird. I mean, you know, Tanya can move to Florida. If she did, Liz wouldn't stay with her. So, I mean, she wouldn't stay with me. And so, I could move to Florida. You know, I could move. Something could happen. I don't know. It's just weird. I had this just like weird feeling that like I probably would never see her under that. It would never just be Tanya, Liz, and I just hanging out again, you know? Like, I just had this weird feeling about it, and I got kind of, like, really sad. And, I think something's happened to me this summer, you know? I really enjoyed my summer. It's not over yet, but, like, I was telling Tanya this. We were driving around the other night, and I said, you know, like, she was talking about going to the pool, and she's been going to the pool a lot, I've been going to the pool a lot, and I said to her, you know, I wanted to swim every day in August, and that hasn't happened, and I said, you know, like, I've really enjoyed this summer, like, I've really taken full advantage of this summer, and she said, you know, I have too, and I remember earlier this year, because my mom passed away when she was 64, and I thought, if I die at my mom's age, I have 20 summers left, you know? And you think about things in those capacities when you lose people close to you. But, like, for some reason, I don't know if it was turning 45, and so, like, I feel closer to 50, which I can honestly say for a lot of my life, I could imagine being late 30s, early 40s, but I never could imagine being 50, you know? And, I know I'm not dead, but, like, I just guess I'm not ready for it to be over yet, you know? A lot of the people that I know, a lot of the people that are my history, are passing away. And, I don't see a lot of the people that are part of my history, really ever. You know, so... What does she have over here? Oh, Tanya. So, you know, it's weird. And I'm not, like, I wouldn't say I'm sad about it. I wouldn't say, like, I'm melancholy about it. I just guess I'm, like, my eyes are open wide this summer. That, like, I say this a lot, but, like, I think I finally realized, you know, you can say something, you can say it to yourself, you can say it to other people, you know, like, forgive other people, it's forgiveness is for you, not for them, forgive other people. But then when you're given the obstacle of really forgiving somebody that is extremely difficult for you to forgive them, right? And you work really hard on forgiving them, and then you do, and then you realize that forgiveness truly is for you, because it's a cathartic experience, okay? So it's very similar to that. It's like, you know, I preach all the time, life is short. Accomplish your dreams, do the things you want to do, you know, and have the time of your life. Life is short. I say all these things, right? But I think this summer, like, it really caught up with me, and I realized, no, life is really short, Peter, you know? And I think my aunt passing away this year has been a big part of it. I think my cousin Caroline and I talking and having other friends. I have a friend of mine whose father is very ill right now. And, you know, it's just like, it's just weird. This whole getting older thing, it's not sad, it's not depressing, it's weird. It's like you wake up one day and you still like, I mean, I can drive around and listen to the Smiths or the Cure, like I was doing that today. I was listening to Louder Than Bombs by the Smiths earlier. And it's like, I feel inside 17, like I still have that piece of me, I really do. Physically, I don't feel 17, I wish I did. But, I mean, you don't really know how good you feel at 18 to 25, so appreciate it, because you don't, stupid shit, like I remember like probably 10 years ago, like I started getting back pain when I would wake up in the morning, and I remember I called my dad one time, and I said, Dad, I said, oh my God, there's something really wrong with me, and he was like, what is it? And I was like, because my dad's a doctor, and I said, you know, every time that I wake up, it's like the middle of my back is like, you know, it's like really, I think I did something to my, I think it's really, I don't know, it scares me. And he goes, oh, he goes, that's bad. You're right, Peter. He goes, I know what that sounds like, and that's really bad. And I go, really? He's like, yeah. He was like, you know, there's a diagnosis for that, but I don't know that you're gonna like it. And I go, really? Well, what is it? And he goes, it's called getting older, Pete. He goes, it's a bitch getting older. And it's true. It's like one day you wake up and your body doesn't feel the same way that it used to, and you're like, even if you're in the best shape ever, I'm sure, you know, and it's like, I just don't move as fast as I used to, and, you know, it's just like, it's hard to keep up sometimes. I really noticed it like with music festivals, because this year going to Ultra, like really, like I danced my ass off, but it really caught up with me, you know? Oh, by the way, if I didn't talk about this earlier, because I don't know if I vlogged or not, I lost 11.6 pounds total, so I'm very happy with my diet right now. I'm super proud of myself that I've stuck to it and just pushed through, so yeah. But you know, like, it's just weird, the whole idea of getting older, and you just don't think about it until it's there, you know? And like the funny part of it is like all of these young kids that come onto my main channel video and they're like, you're so old, why are you consumed with this? And I mean, it kind of cracks me up, honestly, because what I want to say to them is, you don't even realize it, but your future is already written for you like history. Like, you're gonna be my age, okay? And you'll remember that you were passing judgment on somebody like me. Because I totally do remember saying to people like, oh, that old dude, you know, like, what does he know? And it's like, now I realize that that person was just an older version of a teenager, you know, like, that had just grown up and learned some things along the way. And so, I think for that reason, it doesn't really make me mad, because they just don't really realize what they're saying, you know? I mean, God, wouldn't it be great if we all had youth forever? But that's just not the reality. And I honestly don't know that I wish that I could go back to 20. I will say I wish I could go back to about 32 or 33. You know, my husband is that age, and it's just a world of possibilities. You still have a lot of time ahead of you to, you know, change a lot about the world. But, you know, one of the things I want to say to people out there is this. Is that last night I said on here, I was talking about, you know, I wish financially I could make YouTube a full-time career. Well, I probably could, you know? I'd have to cut some things out of my life, and we might not be able to travel and things like that as much as we do, but Alex makes a very good income. You know, I could probably do YouTube full-time. So to come onto YouTube, it will be a year on September 1st. It was May 11th was my year on BookTube, which I don't make money off BookTube to live on my own, I just don't. But to come onto YouTube in a year, at 44 years old, almost 45 years old, and basically reinvent a new passion, a new kind of career, so to speak, is like, I always said you're never too old to start your life over, but like, I literally did it and didn't even realize I was doing it, you know? Like, I didn't know it was gonna turn into this. I didn't know it was gonna turn into people begging for 40 and 50-minute vlogs. I didn't know that I was gonna have a BookTube channel where people send me books to review because they wanna hear what I have to say. I didn't know that I would get on YouNow streams and have amazing people to interact with. I would have been like, that's crazy. I would never in a million years have believed that. I just wouldn't have, And so I think it goes to prove that you really can start over whenever you want, whatever you want to do. You want to be a Broadway actress. You want to be, like Geraldine Page, who was in Trip to Bountiful, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. If you've never seen Trip to Bountiful, find it, about Bountiful, Texas. And it was a stage play that she was in. And she was known as a character actress, and she won Best Actress for Trip to Bountiful. I don't remember when, but like when I was in high school, 88, 89, 87, something like that. And she was probably late 60s when she won that Oscar, And there are a lot of actresses like that, that actors and actresses that I love when you hear these stories, like the guy from that Captain show with Tom Hanks movie, or like the people that were in Beasts of the Southern Wild. I love when you hear these stories about these people that are basically picked out of nowhere and become movie stars overnight, and it's like they're highly respected movie stars, And I haven't. I put that out in the universe. It is my dream to win an Oscar. It has always been my dream as a little kid to win an Academy Award. And I'm not ruling out on it yet, Maybe I'll be the first YouTuber that ever wins an Academy Award. More foolish things have happened. People that meet me today that knew me 20 years ago are like, I cannot believe that you are on YouTube making videos every day. It's hilarious, but I love it. It's great. I'm so happy for you, Never thought I would have a book published, ever. I really had ruled out against it. It's too late, I'm too old, whatever. So those people out there, that you guys that watch my videos and you're 17 or you're 15 or you're 20 or you're 22 or even 30, you guys have an entire world ahead of you. The one thing I wish, okay, is that I had known at your age what I know now. And what that is that anything is possible. Anything in the world that you want to put your mind to is possible. And don't wait around for it. I believe anything that you work hard enough on, anything that you work hard enough for, anything that you are that passionate about could happen. If I wanted to give up everything I have, move to LA, and really pursue acting to win an Academy Award, I really do believe that at some point I get cast in some kind of movie if I really wanted to do it. I'm just not putting any effort out into it. So if it's going to happen, somebody's going to have to come to Indiana and be like, hey girl, you want to be in a movie? I mean, like for real. But like, I think it's possible if I wanted to do that. Is it possible for me to have, a bestseller on, absolutely. That's another dream of mine, is have a book on the New York Times bestseller list. Is that possible? Absolutely. Is it possible for me to get into the best shape I've ever been in my entire life? Well, I've lost 11.6 pounds. So I'm working on it. And I think that, it's dream plus action plus passion. I think passion is very important. You have to ask yourself, is this something I cannot live without having in my life? There's a little raccoon on the side of the road. Rookie raccoon. If I die and I don't accomplish this thing, and I don't even try to accomplish this thing, will I feel like I let myself down? And I think it's a really important question that we ask ourselves, When I was writing my book, it was something that kept me going every night. I wrote my book in 3 weeks. And literally, I wrote it in 3 weeks, 21 days. And I sat down every night. Alex was completely supportive. I would take a nap. I would work. At that point, my private practice was like booming. And I would work every day and come home. And then I would take a nap from like 8 to 10, and then I would get up, make a pot of coffee, and I would write from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day for 21 days. Just boom, 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 bust that book out. And then the editing process. And, like every day when I would start struggling and be like, God, I don't want to write today or whatever. I'm like, I'm really stuck in this right now. I'm struggling writing right now. I write for a day and then I don't write for 2. And it's hard, And I know that writers write, actors act, YouTubers make videos, singers sing. I know that. And if you want to be successful at whatever it is you want to do, artists create, chefs make food. You don't sit there and go, well, I want to be a chef and work in a restaurant, but you don't ever cook. I mean, you have to put some action to your dream, and you have to have passion behind it. And every day I would ask myself, especially when I would get to those points where I was like, I don't want to do this right now. I'm like too tired. I want to go to bed early, or I think to myself, if you die tomorrow and you do not accomplish this dream of finishing this book, okay, are you going to be okay with yourself? And you know what was so interesting to me? I would love to tell you that me publishing a book and me seeing the physical copy come in the mail, okay? And for me to have my book be on, like my book at one point for, I think I was number one or something in Australia and England for YA LGBT books of 2014. And I'll never forget when my publisher contacted me, and she goes, you just made number one in Australia and England on this. And I just was like, oh my God, that's crazy that people over there that I don't even know that have read my book, my story that I put together, you know, that had so much of me in it. People ask all the time, how much of you is in your book? Well, a lot, you know? Even the stories that aren't true, there's a lot of me in there. And but I just kept on pushing. Well, it was cute. If you read my book, please read the acknowledgments in the back, because they were very emotional for me to write. And the one thing y'all, I don't know that I can ever make it through a video without crying. The one thing that creature that I thanked the most was Pee-Pee. Because it was lonely, and I would write every night, and Alex would be asleep, and Pee-Pee would lay right by my feet every night in his little bed. And, you know, I would take him out, and we would look at the stars together, and I would talk to him, and, oh, Pee-Pee, I don't think I'm ever going to finish this book, and he would just run around, and I'll never forget, I finished that book. And I wrote my ending first, and then went back and began it. And so when I got to the end of the book, like, I knew it was done. Like, I had been working towards the end of the book for a long time. I knew how I wanted it to end. And so I rewrote the ending at the end when I got to it. And I just knew. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was just, I just knew it was done. It was like, it was complete. And I knew it was complete. And I took him outside, and I had a cup of coffee in my hand, and I remember I looked up at the stars, and it was the clearest April night I had ever seen. It was absolutely beautiful outside. And you could smell, like, all of the Easter flowers, you know? And I looked up, and I started crying, and I said, Mom, I finished writing my book. You know, and I know you would be so proud of me, Mom. Because there's a lot of things I've done that I don't think that she would be proud of me for. You know, or she wouldn't get. Like, I don't know that she would really understand all this YouTube. She would get it, but I don't know. I mean, she would say, so you make these videos talking about people, like, okay, you know, but I think she would love the messages and the comments that I get from people, that I make people laugh, and that I cheer up their day, and I brighten up their day. My mother, that would mean the world to her, you know? But it would have been the coolest thing for her that I actually wrote a book. And my aunt, I think my aunt bought 100 copies and handed them out to all of her friends for Christmas that year. But it was just a really cool moment, you know? And I was like, I did this. I wrote a book. Now I need to get on my ass and finish my next two, because they're coming out next year, so. Okay, I need to stop this for a second because it's almost right at 30. I'm at like 28 minutes and 50 seconds right now, and I don't want it to go over and just stop. So I'm going to stop it and then start it again. Okay, I'm right back. I literally just stopped it and started again. Now the camera will probably get so hot. There are possums and raccoons and everything all over. It's like the beasts of the wild. So what's that? Where the wild things are tonight. Good night, Moon. I used to tweet that out every night before I would go to bed, and I used to put it on Snapchat too. I'm gonna do it tonight. Good night, Moon. Every time I would do that. So yeah, that was cool. That was a cool moment. And what I really realized, the other thing was I was obsessed with podcasts at the time. And so when I would take breaks from writing, I would go and get a Fountain Coke or go get Tanya, and I would listen to this broadcast called Ramblin' Redhead. And he's this gay guy from northern Indiana. And I fell in love listening to his podcast, right? So I started following him and tweeting him and all this kind of stuff. And then when my book came out, he asked me to be on the podcast. I about died. I was like, oh my God, I get to be on this podcast. It was the coolest thing ever. I mean, this was before YouTube and all kind of stuff, right? And I'll never forget that night. He was like, yeah, he's like, I'm going to call you. And I had my coffee ready. I was so nervous because it was going to be an hour podcast and we were just going to talk about me and he was going to interview me. And it's still up. You guys can find it. It's called Ramblin' Redhead, Interview with Peter Monn. I was so excited about it. I think I listened to that thing about 40 times and I'm not even ashamed of it. I was so proud of the fact that I did a podcast. It was just so cool to me, you know? So in the last 3 years, 3 years, I've written a book and I've started 4 YouTube channels. I was on a podcast. I won an award for my book. You know, my book was on top selling lists on Amazon. I've made some amazing friends through YouTube. Most of you guys that I talk to on a regular basis. You know, I've gotten some shout outs from bigger YouTubers that think I'm funny, which is cool. I've gotten some shout outs from bigger YouTubers that think I'm wise, which is cool, because I don't often think that about myself. I think I really just repeat the things that I've learned that work best. And maybe that is wise. You know, maybe that is wise to repeat the things that work best for other people. It's not so much about being so wise that you come up with your own shit. I think it's knowing what other people did that worked for them and repeating it in your own life. And so I've had some really cool moments. And I started going to music festivals, which I never thought I would do. I danced on stage with Britney Spears. All of this between 39 and 45. And you know, I think that's pretty cool for my age. And I think what it proves to me is that anything in life is possible. And so you got to figure out, you know, like, well, what is it that you want to do? What is it you cannot live with? Make a bucket list, like seriously, you know? And then you got to look at that bucket list and you regularly. I was up in my head thinking, because my friend Brittany, and I've talked about this on here too, you know, she was like, make a list of dreams of things that you want. And I put in, so, you know, later, like 3 months later, I called her up and we were talking, and Brittany is somebody, she married us. She was Miss Indiana USA. You can look her up, and she's one of my dearest friends. I love her. Beautiful inside and out. She's now the director of Miss Universe Ireland, and she lives in Ireland. But she's somebody that accomplishes her dreams. She's also a very spiritual person, and I think that works to her advantage. She always self-reflects and takes critiques from other people, and she's taught me to do that as well. And so anyway, you know, she said, you got to make a list of what things you want to accomplish in your life, a dream list. And I said, okay. And she's like, you know, and she very much believes in like the whole mentality of The Secret. But you don't just say I want it and then it comes to you. You have to actually put action behind it. She's like, every day you make a list of things that you want to achieve, and then every day you read that list like 5 to 10 times. You got to keep it present in your mind. Like, you know, like I want to write a book. I want to write a book. I want to write a book. And then you write a book. Then you put action to your words, right? She said, I guarantee you within a year to 5 years, all of your dreams on that list will come true. So 3 months later, we're catching up. I'm sitting outside, drinking a cup of coffee. I said, you know, girl, I said, none of those dreams on my list are coming true. Nothing's even making any kind of movement. And she kind of laughed. And she's like, I know, Peter, but like, if you really believe in it, it'll happen. Like, all of my dreams came true. And I said, you know, Brittany, I think that's easier said than done for a girl that's 5'11", absolutely gorgeous, and was, you know, a Miss USA. I mean, she ranked 6th in the Miss USA pageant. And she laughed, and she said, you're right. It does open some doors for me that other people don't have those opportunities. She said, but how bad do you want it? You know? And so she said, you've got to sit and read that list. And I do. And I go over my dream list on a regular basis, you guys. And I was just sitting here in my head, and I was thinking to myself, you know, I have really accomplished with the exception of one, and that's pay off all my debt and house and everything included, I have really accomplished almost all of those dreams on there. Well, not my dream body and my debt, but I had 10 goals, 8 of them I've accomplished. You know, that's a pretty cool thing, right? And there were some lofty ones on there. And I was watching this TED Talks. So every day I've been trying to watch a TED Talks to educate myself. I wish I wasn't driving and I would look it up. I was watching this kid on there, and I can't remember what the disease is he has, but it's a disease that makes kids look a lot older than they are, I think. And I'm probably completely wrong. So I'm right now I'm showing my ignorance and my miseducation. But it's this TED. I'll tell you what it is. If I don't know what it is, I'll try to link it below. Somebody, if I don't link it below, somebody in the comment section put, hey, what was that TED Talk you were talking about? And then I'll go back in and do it. But it was this kid, and he says it was called something like How to Be Happy. And he is like, I don't know, like 3'8" or 4 foot. And he has this rare disease and all these medical conditions and tubes and stuff, and his bones are very weak. And it was his dream to play snare drum in the marching band. And so the guy says, well, you can be in percussion, but the snare drum is so heavy that you can't carry it. We can't have you carry it. You know, it just is impossible. So his parents worked with an engineer, and they designed this carrying mechanism for him to carry this drum, okay? And they show a video clip of it where he goes out there with them and he plays the snare drum in the marching band. And I mean to tell you, I already cry over it. I mean, I lost my shit immediately. It was such a fine moment of humanity. I'm telling you right now, it's those moments where I learn the most about the world, you know? And he said something that was so interesting. And when he's talking, he's just like a high school kid, you know? And he's like, people all the time ask me, you know, isn't it so hard to do this? Or isn't it so hard to do that? Or doesn't it make you sad that, you know, this keeps you from doing that and this keeps you doing that? And he said, I don't look at the world that way. I don't look at the world at the obstacles that stand in my way, keeping me from doing the things I do. I don't complain about what I can't do. Basically what he said was, I treasure what I can do, and those things I want to do, I remove the obstacles and I make myself able to do them. And I thought, amen, if we couldn't all live that way. And I need to hear that lesson on a regular basis instead of bitching about what isn't possible and what I can't do and why the world's unfair and blah, 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 whatever. You know, and here is this kid out there that for no other reason than how he was born differently than the rest of us, me mostly, you know, that like, I feel like I have the right to complain about what I can't do because I don't have enough money or well, it's my fault, you know? What's the obstacle? Remove it. And he talked about how happy he is, and he's so happy, you know? And it was the coolest video. It was just like 4 or 5 minutes long, honestly. It wasn't long at all. And, oh, no, that's not true. It was probably 7 or 8 minutes long, and I was watching it, and I thought, I don't know. I watch all those TED Talks. Do you guys watch those TED Talks? I love them. And I just put them on. And honestly, Alex was laughing because we went out to dinner with our friend Tessie last week, and I was telling her about it. And I said, she goes, well, how do you find ones that are really good? And I said, oh, I just search on YouTube emotional TED Talks. And Alex goes, doesn't that tell you something about Peter? Like, he wants the real emotional TED Talks. But I do, like, I want the ones that are going to make me feel something, that are going to make me move. Like, life's too short not to be moved by someone, not to be motivated by somebody. And I hope that in a way I motivate somebody out there. You know, I hope I make somebody go, you know what, you really made me think today. You really made me think differently. You know, that sure, I'm 55 and I've got 3 kids that are, you know, in college and older and all this, but like, I've always wanted to play the clarinet, or it's been my dream to you know, start a YouTube channel or write a novel, or it's been my dream to be an actress, or it's been my dream, you know, to, I don't know, be a sushi chef or whatever. What's stopping you? What is, like, that, I hope I at least can motivate people. For 20 years, I have worked in the field of addiction, and let me tell you why. I tell 2 stories when I work with people that are addicts and alcoholics. One, I tell them my story, or 3 stories really. One, I tell them my story of addiction. 2, I tell them my mother's story of addiction, who got sober at 51, and I never thought she would. And 3, I tell the story of my mother and I's interaction together, our relationship, as a result of our sobriety. Because I grew up never thinking my mother would get sober, and she got sober at 51. I'm telling you, the jury was out. I was done. I thought, this lady, she's gonna drink till the day she dies. I really believed it. And, you know, I did that for 20 years, okay? And I told my story, and I still continue to tell my story and talk about sobriety and talk about how awesome a life of sobriety is, okay? For one reason, to offer hope to those struggling with addiction, and to offer hope to those friends and family members that don't ever give up hope on your family member. They may get sober one day. Well, similarly, I want to do the same thing on this channel and on all my channels to display that I might be some old fucker on YouTube, but baby, if I ain't still killing the game a little bit, okay? And all of us out there have the opportunity to kill whatever game it is. And no, I don't have 10 million subscribers, but I think I do okay, you know? And people seem to like me sometimes, and that feels good. And I've got to meet all of you, and you guys leave comments and just, you know, you make me think about things I never would have thought, introduce me to shows I never would have known about, and music and books. It's wonderful. I love everything about it. It's so awesome. So take that leap of faith and go out there and try whatever it is you're afraid of. You know, contact me and say, Peter, this is my dream. I don't know how to achieve it. Where do I start? You know, I want to be an actress. Go audition for community theater. I don't know how to do that. I'm terrified. Well, take a good Judy with you. Make her audition for you too, and hope she don't get the part, you know? I mean, it's just, we have to, like, try. It's just, life is short, you know? And I remember I asked my mother, I said, we talked about regrets, and she said, you know, Peter, she goes, this was one of my last conversations with her. She said, at the end of your life, she said, it isn't the things that you did that you regret. It's the things you never tried. I'm not willing to stand by and not try things at the expense of fear and embarrassment. I'm just not. Life's too short. And I want to have an exciting and cool life. And I want that for you too. And I want you guys to have the life of your dreams, you know? My sponsor always says when he talks about his sobriety, he says, I have a life beyond my wildest dreams. And I do too. And I'm so thankful for it. And I've had to take a lot of risks, and I've had to look stupid, and I've had to be embarrassed. And you know what? I'm okay with that today. It's cool. I have a cool life. So, man, that got kind of preachy, didn't it? I should just drop mic. I'm no TED Talks person, that's for sure. I want to tell you really quick who this guy is on TED Talks, because it was phenomenal. So let me look at my, and then I'm going to get off here, because I'm like, oh my God, I've gone like 45 minutes. I've done pretty good tonight, don't you think? My friend Liz got bit by, they went to the cemetery. Liz's mom is buried right behind my mom. And she and Tanya went to the cemetery today. And Liz got bitten by a million red ants. And now I'm like, oh my God, did she put a new video up? No. I am obsessed with that Chaco, the macho chihuahua. So cute. Okay. Peter, history, TED Talks. I can't even remember how long I listened to it. It's probably been forever now. Give me just a second. 2017 Miss Continental Elite Gowns. I mean, I watch like drag videos on here, drag pageants, because I'm obsessed with drag pageants. Isn't that so funny? I bet you would never guess that about me, would you? God. You guys could see the just junk that I watch on here to make videos. I have to watch all these stupid videos just so I can make the videos on my main channel. Oh my God. Oh, here it is. My Philosophy for a Happy Life, Sam Burns. Have you seen this? I mean, it is fantastic. So I want you to, the other one that I watched too was What Really Matters at the End of Life by B.J. Miller. And he's a guy that was like electrocuted. My Philosophy for a Happy Life, Sam Burns. And I will link that below if I remember. If I don't, if you can't remember what it is, somebody put it in the comment section below, or somebody say, what was that video again? And I'll link it for you guys, okay? Anyway, I feel really motivated now to get up tomorrow and get all kinds of shit done. But first, I have to finish 6 of Crows. So, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. I want you to make a list of your dreams and get going on it. Ola has done it, and I'm so proud of her. She updates me on a regular basis about how much she's getting accomplished in her life, and I think it's so cool. So, it does work. I think I'm an example of that, you know? And we can be the dream team together. Wouldn't that be cool? I love you guys. Bye.